A few months left to the upcoming assembly elections here in Meghalaya, and several of the candidates and young aspirants have already started campaigning. I'm being joined by a very vibrant personality here, by Avner Pariat, who's one of the independent candidates who's planning to contest from Shillong East constituency. And today we're going to get more details. Why did Avner, start this journey to join into politics? Firstly, Avner, welcome to EastMojo. If you can just tell us more about yourself.
Well, there's so many things to say. I mean, I'm basically from Shillong. I mean, I was born and raised here. I did my schooling from St. Edmunds. I also finished till master's level. I finished my studies and I worked abroad for a few years. And then after that, I came back. And now for almost 10 years, I've been based out of Shillong. And, one of the reasons why I decided to go into politics is also because in this 10 years, I have seen absolutely no growth.
So is that the main sole reason that has pushed you to join into politics?
Yeah, I think that's one of the driving factors. I've seen that, as I said, there's no growth. And that means on all fronts, whether you're talking about employment, entrepreneurship, whether you talk about even public works, public health, transportation, everything has just totally been left to its own devices, especially here in this constituency, which is supposed to be a real gem of a constituency. It's so sad to see that the government has no part to play at all in making people's lives better here.
Okay. So do you think with you coming you'll have much more better ideas, or how do you plan to take this forward?
Yeah, I mean, what we are talking about is basic stuff, which people have always known were good things. Other state governments have always supported things like public transportation, public health, public education, or even the regulation of private entities on all those sectors. But unfortunately here, I don't know what our MLAs, and not just MLA of this constituency, I mean every one of these MLAs, sitting MLAs, I don't know what their idea of being an MLA is, because I think that there's a lot more responsibility than what they're doing now.
I would like to understand firstly is how do you plan to tackle, like Kong Ampreen, who's, who has been in the ruling for quite a while, who has been an MLA for quite a while. So I just wanted to understand how do you plan to take on it, because many feel that, Avner, then you have another Manuel also, they're youths. So how do you plan to take on a veteran, or how do you plan to do it?
We have our own strategies. Obviously, I'm banking on the youth card, of course, but that's not the only thing for me. I think that just being young is not a good enough reason to go into politics, because everybody was young once upon a time. Everyone gets old also, but ideas, fresh ideas, young ideas that can withstand the test of time, those are more important. Why we're standing now also is because of that. Our job here is to spread those ideas starting from this constituency into other constituencies, because we believe in a higher class of leadership than what is currently now being pushed. Because if you look at how politics is now, the level is very low. The bar of entry is very low in terms of what you can do, what you should be thinking. I mean, what are the agendas that will improve people's lives? None of these things are actually talked about. I never make any false promises. Based on what I've seen, I try to develop a tactic or a strategy or a solution for those things. I try not to talk too big about things, because as I said, many of these things have already been in place. It's just about a proper management system that comes in and makes sure that those things are working well, whether you talk about health, transportation, anything. These systems are already in place. But you just need people who will actually pay attention to them, instead of being obsessed with that chair, the power with that chair, and not really worrying about the duties that chair, entails.
Do you feel that the present Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma, because he is very much into pushing entrepreneurship and all of that, pushing the youths to join, to become entrepreneurs. So we've seen a lot of times he's held many programs and done many initiatives for entrepreneurs. So do you feel that not much is done when it comes to starting up your own business or any sort of that?
Generally, what I've seen is that and this is the problem with a lot of these things. They are very shiny from the outside, very shiny, very cute. Nice photos, nice videos being made. But the problem is that the underlying fundamental problems with the system were never addressed. For example, entrepreneurship. How can I be an entrepreneur when the environment around ease of doing business, for example, how can you not fix that, number one? You can give me inspiration as an entrepreneur, but if you don't fix how banks are giving money, right, how I can get permits easier, right, all these things are more important than simply giving inspirational classes. Because a lot of the classes I've seen, I mean, I've noticed in a lot of the programs that Conrad Sangma has had, most of them are just about inspiration, just about you can do it. But how can you do it if the system won't allow you to do it? I mean, I'll give you an example, like whether we talk about KVIC or Khadi or anything, the penetration of the Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program is very low here in Meghalaya. I mean, and there are reasons for that. Why don't you explore the reasons why that is? Why can't you improve on that instead of creating something totally new and trying to make everyone an entrepreneur? And again, I personally look at things much more than being an entrepreneur. I look at, can you employ people well? Are you giving them a good salary? Right? Are you ensuring health insurance, paternity, maternity, whatever those things are? All these are part of being, of creating a better business environment, entrepreneurial environment. These are all very important. You can't just simply say, oh, we helped one guy build a factory which is now 5 crores, but he is eating 4 crores, and 1 crore he's using it to run his factory. That's not fair. The business has to be also tied up to ideas of equality and fairness.
So when we look at this particular Meghalaya Democratic Alliance government, we have seen that many, like if you talk about particular constituency like Maushan constituency, we have an MLA called Jigur. He is one of the MLAs who owns several coke factories. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but if you see, like many say that, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Yes. I want to hear what the Congress government and NPP and all of them will say about that, because they have been the number one people who have helped create this type of inequality, forcing people like us to come out now as new organizations, new independent people. We have had to come out here because of the damage they have been causing for the past 10 years. And forget about Jigora and all these other people. All of them belong to the same kind of system, right? They have been steadily robbing the state by allowing a few people to become rich, and usually because of their party worker affiliations. This is something I personally will not tolerate. I will always protest it. I will always fight it, no matter what happens after elections, and I've always been doing that. I think if you've read some of the articles I've written, some of the stuff I've been producing, it's always been about fairness, equality, because this is not something new. MDA is just a supercharged version of Congress's Frankenstein monster. They helped create it. So that's why don't believe these guys who say that they will bring change when their party workers are all crorepatis. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it also, because when you're a crorepati, you're going to think first about business, not about service to the public. That's why we have more connection with people like Arden, VPP and so on than with these other groups. Now they can throw mud at each other because elections are coming up, but at the same time they're very much part of the same thing. Every 5 years, once every 5 years, they will go down to Guwahati, to Delhi, to beg for hundreds of crores to fight elections, right? And then they're in an arms race who will get more money so that they can buy our people. And then when they come to power, nothing changes. Why? Because they owe money to people. No, our campaign is entirely transparent. Like, we will be releasing public accounts also, because we believe that this is an important step in real democratic changes, which not the Congress, not the NPP, not the BJP, none of them will not the UDP also, none of them will really do it, because they don't want you to know where the money is coming from.
So that means money factor, you're not worried about that, because many feel that, if one is going to contest elections, they will need to have some funds, some money to woo the voters. Do you feel that you don't agree with that?
I don't agree with that, and I think most people, I don't know how they'll vote. For me, that's 50% of my job is already done to try to bring this up to the public consciousness. Many young people I talk to, they realize this, and they say that, yeah, we get money, whether it's here or other constituencies as well. We get money, but you know what, that 10,000 rupees isn't going to eradicate poverty, Right. That is the main agenda here. We are getting hundreds and hundreds of crores every year from the central government. How come we have not eradicated poverty? I find that very amazing, So for me personally, that is my journey here. That is our team's journey, because we are interested in eradicating poverty, bringing people up into the middle class, and trying to, create a fairer society. Yes, money is needed, right? We need to print this, we need to print that, we need to organize small meetings here and there. We do pay our volunteers as well a small honorarium. So these things are needed. I'm not denying that, but we don't need crores and crores of rupees. We need just a few lakhs just to get these things happening. And I'm very thankful to the sponsors, to the donors who've been contributing money to our campaign also. There are many of them, not just one Malik Crorepati.
So that means the response has been very positive so far.
Yeah, I mean I've been very happy to see that a lot of people now understand this. You see, 10 years ago when I first came back, I could never have dared go into this thing. Okay. I'll tell you, because back then people were still very much, I could make out very much, if you have money, they'll obey you, right? And I'm not saying that isn't there now, it's still very much there, but it has changed so much, because as I was saying, people are now smarter. They are looking at the overall picture, and there's been a lot of public awareness from different groups, different organizations have been talking about the fact that all these little freebies will not save your life, right? If the MLAs were just doing their job, I'll tell you, they would always win, right? But instead they put too much emphasis on money power, right? And so that's why they will eventually, nobody will remember them. You look at people like Bibi Lingdo up here, then so many other MLAs who were there, ministers back in the days, Martin Narayan Majao, all these characters who were now have become like legends. Why? Because they did their job. Okay, it wasn't like they just fed people money, gave them money, So they did their job. They did their job, whether we like them or not. They did their job, and people remember them. But I'm very sad to say, most of these MLAs, nobody will remember them. That's my opinion.
Okay. So, do you feel that the present MLA of this constituency hasn't done much for the people?
Look, I'm not going to say that, because obviously I know her limitations also. Now, I going around meeting people, I do see that there are very big problems that have to be addressed. But and
like
maybe
what are these problems?
Oh, I mean, structurally there are so many problems. I mean, for example, if we look at the amount of money that's in the government, and how MLAs are really unable to deploy that money to suit the entire needs of the constituency in terms of public works, for example. There's a lot of money that needs to be pumped into the constituency. Bad roads are there, repairing these pipes, repairing these tanks, all these things, that will require a lot of money. Again, maybe, based only on the MLA lads, maybe it's not adequate, but I think one can access funds from other things, yeah. And also central government funds also should be deployed, should be inquired after by these MLAs. So I know that there are limitations. I'm not going to say that she hasn't done her job. She has obviously done her job. But you see, now the transition is into a new type of politics, right? Because it's no longer just water, light and road. We are now having a huge unemployment crisis. We need to talk about that. How can the government play an important role in that? How can the MLAs do it? We see MLAs outside in Gujarat, Maharashtra, wherever. They take an active role in trying to encourage investment, so that investment creates employment opportunities, entrepreneurship activities, all that. But I'm very sad to say that a lot of MLAs, they're still stuck in this old style, you know, and that style is no longer feasible. We young people now, really, we need something else, not just like surak, just, you know.
Do you feel you'll be able to connect with the youths more well?
Yeah, I think, like right now I'm doing my job, right? I think I by virtue of being younger than most people, most candidates, then, somehow I would be able to reach out. But again, it's a long-term project. I want to help people develop their ideas further. I think that it's important for everyone to be critically minded. That is my ultimate goal here. That is the ultimate goal of our organization, New Dawn Meghalaya, as well, because we want to build the next generation of leadership, that is smart, that can question people in power, because that is not happening enough right now. Opposition should not just be at the assembly level. Opposition should be here also. The public has to ask questions. One innovation we're bringing to this constituency, which we will spread to others as well, including Nong Thamai and other places where we are. We want to start these constituency clinics. I keep talking about them, but they're very important because we believe that every 3 months the MLAs have to come and give report cards in these public meetings called constituency clinics. These are very important. We believe that these can bring down corruption, increase transparency, and those things we will pursue. Like whether or not, whatever the outcome of 2023 is, we are going to pursue that because it's a long-term project.
So, if, say for instance, 2023 will be a lucky term for you where you'll be able to win the elections, are you open up to, join other parties, an alliance?
Yeah, of course. But again, we have to do that very smartly. We have to push certain good legislations, good policies that will help even that ruling dispensation. I think we are, of course we have to consult, with our members and all that, but it's important that we realize the power of a coalition. Coalitions are usually good. Japan has never ever had a majority government since World War II, and so they've always had coalition governments. So, but you can see the difference there because they have agendas. So even the small parties can push certain good things, right? But unfortunately here, you've seen a lot of coalition partners, they just keep shut and then they don't do anything. And then the public really suffers, And it's important really right now to push those ideas. I keep talking about it because I really believe in that.
Now, lastly, I just wanted to understand, do you agree with this that, you need educated politicians to become MLAs or to be cabinet ministers? Because what we have right now is, it's absurd that in our state we have those who are just class 6 passed, and they're in the cabinet.
Yeah. Look, I think qualification is very important. But again, qualification without empathy, without ethics. I've seen a lot of very qualified people, smart people, who have hearts of stone, right? I've seen a lot of officers also. I've interacted with a lot of officers over the last few years, and they have hearts of stone. They look down on people, instead of doing their job, which is to uplift people. So I've seen the flip side of being educated without a heart. I think empathy is very important. Ethics is very important. You can be a class 6 pass, as you said, and still be smart. If you're naturally curious, you want to know things about the world, you want to learn more, and you still have a heart of gold, you have a sense of right and wrong. Those things will lead our people to better things. I don't think politicians maybe 100 years ago were so qualified either. They didn't have MBAs and MBBSs or whatever. But they had a heart of gold. They understood that, okay, we have to do certain things to help people, and that's more important. And they also understood that, okay, it'll be important to help everyone, not just people who are around us. It's important to help as many people, tribal, non-tribal, everyone. So that is what we stand for. And qualification is there, but it's not everything.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Avner. That was by Avner Pariat interacting teeth to teeth with EastMojo. Stay tuned. We'll bring further series of youths who are planning to contest this upcoming assembly elections. This is Princess Rashir for EastMojo.com in Shillong.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to East Mojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.